One of my favorite hobbies is learning how to use a brand new tool. Recently, I was gifted this Ryobi Plunge cut router, which is very powerful and therefore very scary. In this video, I'll be learning how to use some standard bits I purchased to create a couple of custom signs, while also trying to keep all my fingers attached to my hand. The first sign I'll be making is the current logo of my channel. It's nothing special, but I think the symmetrical design is satisfying enough to pass for now. The second sign I'll be making is the number 8. This will be to help DoorDash drivers understand what number our house is. Although it was pretty cool to get free dinner that one night, and we already have the number on our front door and mailbox, I feel like putting this by our side door should make it extra clear to any future confused delivery drivers. Alright, so my thought process is that I can cut out rough shapes from some extra wood I have and glue printed out templates right onto them. As you'll see, this wasn't the best plan and I regret using so much glue, but hey, learning these things is part of the fun, right? And trust me, for this tool, there was no way I wasn't going to read the manual and watch multiple YouTube tutorials to make absolutely sure that I secured the router bit correctly. And almost immediately after starting, I already messed up. I made the paper templates way too close to the edge, so anytime the bit got near it, it just tore it right off. However, it still let me cut the middle though, so I was able to carry away with that and salvage something out of the templates. I really did not know what to do about the circle though. I was really depending on that template. So I decided to just roughly freehand it. And it didn't turn out that bad. You know, a little rough, but nothing a Dremel can't fix, right? Well, as I'm in there, carving away all the little imperfections and sanding away the paper, I realized my second mistake. I used way too much wood glue. So you can see the splotches kind of showing through on the wood. I really shouldn't have put that much. And so here we are again with the Dremel. Used a different attachment just to try to grind away as much as I could. Didn't take it all away, but I'm happy with what was left. This is a first attempt after all. And you know, the sign's not perfect, but I'm pleasantly surprised with how nice it looks from my first try. I had some extra cherry wood stain and white chalk paint from past projects, and I was curious as to how they would pair together. I really had to glob on the paint to get into all the corners, which I would regret later. As I moved on to the number 8 sign, I decided I wanted to try to cut it into a rough oval shape. I didn't have any tracers for this, so I freehanded it the best I could and just went at it with my jigsaw. There's kind of a reoccurring theme here of freehanding it and just going with it, which, if you can't tell, is kind of my favorite thing about projects. Just figuring it out as I go. It turned out pretty good. It's got some rough edges, but it certainly rolls like an oval, and that's good enough for me. And no surprise, I had the same issue. The paper was coming right up as I tried to cut near the edge. Fortunately, just scoring it with a knife and tracing along the edges worked out pretty well, and I definitely should have just done that from the start. But, noted for the future, and I know I'll only get better from here. After the 8 was cut out, I tested out one of my round over bits to give it a nice finished look. I should have cleaned up a couple areas to make the oval less clunky, but I wasn't too worried about making sure every detail was perfect, especially on my first try. As I cleaned off the last bits of paper on the 8, the SWS sign was pretty much dry, and I could start removing the excess paint, which did not want to come off. After seeing that hand sanding was barely putting a dent into it, I found out that one of my Dremel attachments actually worked perfectly. Only downside is that I absolutely destroyed the attachment in the process. You can see the bristles wearing away in the time lapse. An orbital sander is definitely going to be my next tool. And even after all that struggle and those mistakes, the signs were really starting to come together. This is why I wanted to start documenting my projects and posting them going forward. I know it's corny, but the journey of completing a project is always more fun to me than what the project actually produces. And I want to share it. And so, now, enjoy the final montage. I want to thank you for getting to the end of my video. I've been wanting to do this for years, and it feels great to finally get the first one out of the way. I plan to upload consistently, and so if you think I earned it, I would appreciate you subscribing. Thanks.